welcome back to Big Purple Couch, and joining us here for our two-on-one USC presidential candidate debate interview, we have Mr. Jon Silver. Welcome, John,
Thank
to the
you
show.
for having me.
Yeah. Got a big crowd out tonight.
Apparently.
And last night at the debate, we also had a huge crowd there. And the one specific question that was critiqued on your campaign was the camera in Weldon and the safety concerns with it. Would you mind addressing that issue?
I think the camera in Weldon is not actually what I want to do. The way that I want to have kind of a monitoring system of how many students are at Weldon is to use the staff that are actually in the building and have them, after they do their rounds, because the security always does rounds, come back and say, roughly how many students there are. We wouldn't report how many students. We'd say, floor 5 is empty. Floor 4 is somewhat busy. So that when a student walks into Weldon, they can look at the TV screen and say, oh, I'll go to floor 3 because there's not too many people on the floor. It's not an actual camera. There's going to be no, that's absolutely not what we're trying to do.
No specific zoom in.
Yeah, no zoom in.
John is on the 5th floor.
No close-ups on
himself.
me studying myself in periodicals.
Okay.
Another question arising from your platform were the discounts at the Spoke and the Wave, like the starving student burger, the Spoke Brew, and the coupons. So we were wondering if you have any concerns arising from this is the first year the Spoke and the Wave are out of the red, and what you're planning on doing to make sure that stays the case.
I think with the Spoke and the Wave, we finally are making money, right? It's pretty incredible that we're making money from a restaurant. Which is great.
Yeah.
So I don't want to change the business model. Every single option that I have is completely feasible. They're all break even. I've talked with Jeff Armour about them. Every single one will be provided. It won't take any hit to the organization or to our bottom line. It will just be giving students more of a service. We need to use these spaces as services as well. And with the coupon specifically, when I do my residence tour and my OC visits, I want to give every single student that is in first year like a little coupon that says, your first CLT is 15% off on the president. Your first buffalo chicken wrap, 50% off on the president. We need to tell students that we actually own these spaces. They're incredible. Look how many people are studying here right now, sitting here and eating. We own them. Let's make sure students know that.
And I guess another money issue comes up with, on your campaign, you were talking about the Mustang Lounge and bringing in massage chairs. And as amazing as that sounds, going along with the bean bags, how do you manage bringing those in and then upkeep of them when they come in?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
And the idea came from a student. We were talking about what the Mustang Lounge is used for, because we've all had those experiences where you walk into the Mustang Lounge and someone's talking, someone's watching a video, and someone's studying. You have no idea what to do. It's like the most confusing space we have. Anyway. Yeah. So a student was like, well, we have that weird fireplace room upstairs that, again, very few students know about. Why don't we put massage chairs in there? So I looked into it. I talked to Paul Tomlinson, who's the building manager, and he said we could do something similar to what we do with all the vending machines here. We cost share. So we get a company, they bring in the massage chairs, they own them, and it costs $1 for a student to get a massage. They take on all ownership of repairs and everything. We put it there. I think there's lots of students that if they could get a massage for $1 on campus, if they have 5 minutes between classes, they would love to do that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Another question from your platform is about the Spoke Brew that you mentioned. With the rebranding going on, not only at campus, but talking about rebranding council, do you think that it's kind of mislabeling what council is all about?
I think with the Spoke Brew, everyone loves Seeps Brew. The idea came from the Seeps. And so the reason why the Seeps Brew is so popular, it's a cultural thing. It's saying that, our organization, our bar has its own brew, it's awesome, students like to drink it. The reason why I want to have a Spoke Brew, and the way I would do it is I would do it similar to what the Grad Club does. You go to a local vendor and they just provide you cheaper kegs. It's a no brand. The Grad Club actually uses Sleeman. There's lots of local breweries in London. So what we do is we bring in cheaper kegs. We label the Spoke Brew. It's a pride thing. I don't think it affects our reputation at all. Again, you can look around in here. There are students that are drinking. I don't think students really party in the Spoke. I think it's a place that you can feel proud, and I think we should feel proud of our organization. It's a student solution. It's a student problem. Let's have a student response.
Another thing you spoke very passionately about all through the campaign so far was the 24/7 mental health crisis line. Why do you think this is so important to have here?
It's a serious issue. So many students feel such anxiety at night. Nighttime is the one time where there's no friends available. There's no counseling available. There's crisis lines in London, but they are not students that are answering these calls. They don't understand student culture. We have a city in London. We're 30,000 people at this university, and they deserve to have access to something at night. Now, Marissa has started a peer support line, and I want to differentiate them. Marissa's peer support line goes from anything from financial issues to relationship issues, which is great. And currently, she'll be the one operating the line, which I don't really know if she's the best person as a VP to be answering phone calls like of this magnitude, but I think what we want to do is use that same line at night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. with student volunteers, get students in nursing, social work, psychology, experience they need to take into the workforce, and as well give students access to another student who's trained so they can have someone to talk to when they're feeling anxious. This is a way that the USC can drive the change and make mental health a little bit more accessible on campus.
Touching on another campus issue, in your platform you discuss increasing allies presence in a week. We were just wondering if you could expand on maybe the demographic that you're not talking about outside of orientation week.
It's a very good question. The Ally Initiative kind of arose from the idea of that unity that our school has. What I love about Western, and what I think we've all expressed, is that we have such shared values. We have different issues. Every student is different at Western, and we need to treat them in their own unique way. But we share a value system at Western, and so what I want to do is share that value system with every first-year student. And the reason why I'm focused on the O-Week community is because if every first year comes into Western and goes through their O-Week and sees that their peers above them are united against an issue, maybe that will make them change their perspective. The Ally Network and the Ally Coordinator do incredible workshops across campus throughout the year. I don't want to change their program. That's something that they do best. But what I want to do is make sure that it's a unified O-Week thing so that students know that Western stands up against hate.
And another thing that came up on the debate last night was the protest that happened yesterday. And when we were talking about free speech, you said something about expanding free speech, but not all free speech. Could you expand on that statement?
Yes, I remember that statement, unfortunately. And what I meant is that we have mechanisms in place at this university to ensure that everyone's voice can be heard. You have a great student life department, a great club system that ensure that when you want to plan a program, whether it be a protest, whether it be an expression of anything, they're doing it in a safe and constructive way.
Right.
I think free speech is so important. We're a university. Like, we need to be the ones promoting free speech. We also have to promote campus safety. And so, in my opinion, we need to go through the proper channels to ensure that every event and every type of expression of speech is done in a way that won't compromise anyone's safety on campus.
Okay. Now, you have an extensive platform. How realistic do you think it is to accomplish all of it in 1 year?
I've actually heard from a lot of students that my platform is very long. And I don't understand why that's a problem. I think we need to be ambitious.
Right.
I think students, we've lost some of our ambition at this organization. And again, it's the ambition of students that built this place. It's the ambition of students that has us have 2 restaurants in a building that we don't even own. So I want to be ambitious. And like I said at the debate yesterday, we have very competent managers that when tasked with something, they can take on. I think that we need to use our managers in a way. We need to direct them. The problem that I see is that students are now being directed by other groups like the administration and the managers. But if students are directing the managers who, again, the managers work for students, right? If students are directing the charge, this could be something great. Let's be ambitious. Western is ambitious, right? We are great students here, and I think we should be ambitious. I think it's absolutely plausible. A lot of the changes I can get done within the first month that I'm taking office. And I think drawing on my experience will allow me to do things a lot quicker than maybe some other candidates.
And there's obviously been a lot of comparison between you and Adam, especially when it came to your campaign videos. What would you say is the main difference, specifically when referring to Adam?
I think the main difference between Adam and I is that my experience is not only from council, from sitting, being a council president, being a speaker, being a counselor. A lot of my experience comes with working on the ground level with students on some amazing charity initiatives. That's where I've built my inspiration and passion for this organization, and more importantly, a passion for what students can accomplish. So what differentiates us is, yes, we're both experienced, but my experience is much more well-rounded, and my experience also comes from students that are working without any political motivation, students that are just working to make a difference. That's why Western raises the most amount of money. That's why Western has the best charity program across the world, because we actually care, and it's those students that have really inspired me and taught me.
Awesome. What is your favorite thing about Western?
Such a hard question.
Yeah, so many things.
My favorite thing about Western is the fact that we can have such a a vibrant campus. Like, you know, again, I keep referring to it. Like, look at the Spoke. This place is packed.
Yeah.
It makes me excited, right? We have such a vibrant campus, and people feel so included, but at the same time, we have one of the best academic reputations. You can come to Western, get a great education, and have a fantastic time. I love that. That's why I came here, and that's why I want to stay here. That's why I want to stay here next year. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Jon, for coming here on the show. And guys, we will have every single USC presidential candidate here on the show, asking them a bunch of questions. So be sure to check that out. And thank you again, Jon, for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's been fun.